While we do the moderating, I just want to introduce Michael Wade to all of you. But in the meantime, let's meet the panel. I'm sorry? Tim Kowalski, the director. Is he here? Hi, Tim. Pleasure to meet you. Kevin Byrne, co-writer and editor.
Hello.
Yo. And a creative collaborator that worked with Nash right from the get-go. I had the opportunity of getting to know him for about an hour and a half over a phone call last week. This is Stephen Pollard. And I know we're on a time limit, and we're going to keep it to the 20. I'm going to get my phone out here. Okay, got it. What makes a person want to do a Nash documentary? You look younger. I don't think you probably would have seen Nash when he was in his heydays of touring.
Well, I mean, thank you. I mean, maybe I'm not as young as you think, but no, I saw him on TV.
Well, you're aging well then.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Yeah. No, I saw him on, when I was growing up, I saw him on the New Music a lot growing up in the 80s, and he really spooked me and made a great impression on me, and he left an indelible mark in the back of my mind, for sure.
Did you have older brothers or family members that listened to Nash? Were they sort of pivotal in introducing you a little bit deeper into Nash?
No, it was just the boob tube. I was a latchkey kid, so yeah. There he is.
Just a quick interruption.
Hey,
this is Michael Wade, everybody.
Hello.
Honored to meet you. It's been great records. Thank you very much. Yeah. You've worked with Nash probably longer than anybody.
I probably did, that's correct.
Yeah, so I thought it was really important for everybody to meet you here and just to know that you're here, and thank you for everything that you did with Nash as well. Great. Do you mind sticking around and hanging out while we do the moderating?
Yeah, I don't mind. Gary said that he was trying to get a hold of me to ask me to do it, and I'm like, I didn't hear about it, but sure, I'm cool.
I was sitting next to Gary Top, and he made sure that I'd put a call out for you.
Great, thank you.
When you're preparing for a documentary like this, cult status musicians always have a fan base that's so close to them that we guard them more than, say, if this documentary was about David Bowie, Madonna, Taylor Swift. Did that change the whole elements and the dynamics of preparing this movie and writing for it?
Thank you. Mike. Yeah, no, it definitely influenced us to try to get everything right, because Nash fans are very protective and we didn't want to piss off the wrong people. So hopefully it was okay. I don't see a laser on my chest, so I think we're okay right now.
And he's one of the few artists that jumped from different genres of music: prog rock, punk rock, electronic. So you had a wide variety of fans to please.
Yeah, he was a chameleon. He was a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So, but maybe you would like to speak to the chameleon element.
Sure, yeah. One of the challenges of making the documentary is that everybody we spoke to had a different idea of who Nash was. So, protective, yes, and also protective of who they thought in particular he was. So we sort of had to navigate who are our reliable narrators, who is spinning mythology, Nash being the biggest spinner of his own mythology, and to sort of, tell a story that was fulsome and represented all those different perspectives.
So the narrative of the storyline changed quite a bit then, from perhaps where you first started?
Well, 9 years.
Is that how long it's been?
It took us 9 years to make this film.
Quality work takes quality time.
I keep saying 8. Convince me of otherwise, but 8.
See, it's been so long, I'm forgetting. I've got dementia now.
You probably count better than me, but I just don't. It's 8.
Stephen, you were there from the get-go working with them on a creative basis. When we were talking, prepping for tonight, you're telling me how, you know, you had these little powwow sessions trying to come up with an idea artistically of creating some sort of visual landscape, draping, and even Nash being part of the projection as opposed to just being an artist. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that all started right from the get-go with Nash?
Yeah, we used to hang out at the Roxy Theater in his apartment and smoke a lot of weed. And we designed puppets. We used, I think you saw them in the show, they were used in the first Nash shows before the bandages. The bandages came about because we decided that we wanted him to be part of the set, a white set, so we got him in a white outfit. And the best way of, because Nash perspired a lot, and he was always fogging up his glasses, and we ended on the bandages for purely practical reasons. They were the only thing that he could breathe and absorb his perspiration and wouldn't fog up his glasses. And to be quite honest with you, the next show we were going to do, we had a gas mask all ready to go, and we ran into the same problem. His glasses fogging up, he couldn't play. So we stuck with the bandages and stuck with them again and again, and they became his trademark, I guess, part of his trademark. But it had nothing to do with the Invisible Man or the Mummy. It was a way for him to blend into this set, the set that you know, I guess we designed. You know, we did everything together as far as visuals go, as far as brainstorming and whatnot. I executed it, but yeah, it was all good. It was actually, I have to say, I was 19 years old. I worked with him for 3 years, from 1978 to 1980. Shortly after the Gary Newman tour, we did a couple other tours, but I have to say just really quickly that it's because of him that I met all these people that allowed me to do, have a great life, the life that I've had, and work with people I've had over the years. I owe a lot to Nash the Slash, I have to say that.
So, timing is very important. And when Nash was starting as a solo artist, it happened during the height of the punk rock scene. Toronto was recognized as the third angle of the triangle: New York, London, Toronto. And even though a lot of people felt that a lot of the punks, whether you were participating in seeing shows or whether you were an artist making music, you were rebellious. But a lot of these punks and a lot of the crowds that went to these shows were very artistically friendly, and they loved a lot of interesting things. So Nash must have fit in perfectly just on the art basis, if not, you know, the music being a little different as well.
Yeah, I think, Nash, I think it was something about the creative anarchy, if you will, of what he did that just really appealed to punks. But he appealed to people who were into prog rock and art rock and classical and all kinds of different, styles. So just goes to show that he was a really versatile player and performer.
What was it like working with Nash on a musical basis early on during Breathless?
It was great in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways it was very, very difficult. We first started working because he was a photographer.
Is your mic working?
Is it?
Oh, okay, so
yeah. He was a photographer at the Rock Pile, and he was taking pictures for a local underground newspaper, of the performers, and the best vantage point for taking photographs was in the light show booth, which was in the balcony in the Masonic Temple. And the light show was a group called Catharsis, who had started out as a light show for a psychedelic band that I had been in before Breathless, called The Tour. The band had split up, and the light show got the job at the Rock Pile. And I went down every week and sat up there. My friends let me in the back door, and I sat up there and watched all the shows. And Nash came up there to take pictures, and we all became friendly. And some of the guys on the light show, one of them was Dave Bluestein, who was the drummer, who started the agency later on, the biggest agency in Canada. And One of them was John Lang, who had been in the tour with us, who was also a great drummer, but a great guitar player and a great keyboard player. And we just at one point said, you know, we should get together and jam, because Nash had mentioned that he played blues harmonica. We thought, well, great, we played psychedelic blues, that'd be fun. So we got together and we started jamming, and Paul Gregg, who I'm still playing with today, who was the original guitar player in the tour, came along as well. And the jams got more serious, and we decided to start a band. And at one point, Nash said, you know, I used to play violin when I was in high school. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, do you think there's anything we could do with that? And I was working at a record store at the time, and this band called The Flock had come out with this electric violin player named Jerry Goodman, who later went on to My Vishnu Orchestra. And I just thought, that sounds super evil, electric violin. So I said, yeah, get a pickup for it and bring it along next time. So he did. So he got this cheap contact mic and stuck it on with an elastic garter, and it fed back like crazy, but it sounded really good. And so that was the beginning of that. And I thought, well, this is pretty unique. He started getting into putting a fuzz on it. He would put a fuzz on everything you could ever find. I remember one day we were in rehearsal and he walked in with he said, I was at a pawn shop on Queen Street and I picked up this instrument. He opened the case and it was a bouzouki. I was like, oh, cool. I'm sure we could do something with that. That probably sounds amazing. He's like, yeah, let's hear it sounds. Oh, hang on a second, let me plug my fuzz in. It's like, well, can we hear what the instrument sounds like first? No, let's just put it through a fuzz. Okay. So anyway, so it was a lot of fun, and we really liked theatrical rock. Both of us did, and that was one of the bases of the band Breathless. We had some really great mutual musical ideas. Unfortunately, he was very volatile, and got pretty hard to work with him a lot of times. I remember John Lang said at his wake, he said, you know, Nash would have been so much better if he just learned how to solder. Because constantly there was something going wrong with his equipment, a fuzz box, and like, wow, you had to duck because it was flying across the room at your head, and you just lose it and go completely berserk and punch walls and break his hand just before the Iggy Pop tour, and smash his mandolin into firewood, and just in fits of rage and stuff. So it was, yeah, it was amazing, and it was really tough, and I don't regret any of it.
Did you have an inkling early on? Of course. Did you have an inkling early on that Nash was going into a sort of solo career, wanting to do something on a solo basis?
Yes. I did, because he had a very hard time working with anybody. So the best solution was just working by himself. And I know from the number of times he quit Breathless, and I managed to talk him back into it, or my girlfriend at the time talked him back into it, and the times he quit FM, and he was just didn't really like working with other people. He didn't like compromising ideas or sharing ideas or anything like that. So I was pretty sure that was going to happen. But I liked working with him, and I always tried to bring him back in, and I'd phone him up a year later and go, what's up? And he'd go, oh, come on over, And the next thing you know, we're working together again. So, yeah.
Michael Wade, everybody. Thank you so much. So when you were writing the storyline for the documentary, the fact that he was a volatile person that had a short temper must have come up a lot.
Oh yeah, it came up a lot, and Kevin can speak to it because basically editing is writing in the documentary realm. It's a real documentary. Documentary is a editing game, or what's that saying? I'm butchering it.
Yeah, the story is made in the edit room generally with documentary film, not always. I think we started with a sort of, you go out there, you collect the data, you do your field recording, and you come back in and you see what you've got. And in the case of Nash, I think, we had such a you know, like his personality was like, he's really generous, he's a loving person, oh my God, he's a psychopath, he's an innovator, you know, these are all of these things. And so we would over-index on one thing, and then, you know, Colin Brenton, who's our executive producer, would say, come on, let's bring it back a little bit. You know, he wasn't a complete psychopath. You know, he was really generous. In fact, you know, the best thing about him was his sense of humor. Shit, we haven't done anything on his sense of humor yet.
Been told we only have 2 minutes left. Quick question for you in regards to Nash the Slash's mandolin that you designed.
Yes.
How did that come about? Were you inspired at all by Bebop Deluxe's Axe Victim album?
No, but I love that. It actually came from a friend of mine a friend of mine offered to design something, and it came out kind of a little bit Tolkien-esque, and so I had a go at it, made it a little bit more vicious, but yeah, I designed that, I guess, about 1979. I designed that for him. But I want to say for the record that Nash was always lovely to me. He's a great guy.
Every story has subplots, and a couple of the subplots in the documentary was looking back at how things were so different in the gay community in comparison to the way things are right now, as well as Toronto, and how tame it was, and all of a sudden we were just waiting for something like a volcanic eruption. You know, Gary's bring the Ramones in, and all of a sudden everything changes. Yeah. I'm glad that you folks included things like that as subplots to the...
Well, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't, you know, paint the complete, you know, set the scene properly, right? So we had to, yeah, sort of portray the scene at the time and how it may have influenced Nash's output, for sure.
Yeah. Before I say goodbye and before we all leave, I just want to share something really quickly about a memory that I had with Nash the Slash when we went to see Motorhead. I have a radio show in Hamilton, and I had the invitation to interview Lemmy, and I brought Nash with me because he's a big Hawkwood fan and Motorhead fan. And at the very end of the interview, Nash gave Lemmy the CD that he just released a couple of years prior called Thrash, and he's explaining what the album is like. And Lemmy's looking at the front cover, flips it to the back, and then looks at Nash and says, "How do I know this is actually you?" Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And, thank you for joining us tonight. Stick around. Live music.
Thank you.